Knicks family, what's popping with you? I'm glad you're joining me today. And look, we're going to make this one quick because I know you want to watch The Last Dance. So we're going to get this one flowing real quick, ladies and gentlemen, so you can get to that show. The New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. Game 6 of the 1999 Eastern Conference playoffs. And yes, this is when the New York Knicks actually go to the NBA Finals. That's why I chose this one. Because they win this game so that they can move on to the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into the game so I can get you guys about 9 o'clock. The Last Dance come on, and I know you want to watch it. So I'm going to get you guys right to it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. The Knicks versus the Pacers. The 1999 NBA playoffs. It is game 6. And if the Knicks win here, they go to the NBA Finals versus the San Antonio Spurs. Let's get with it.
Minutes, baby. Ain't no way they're going to stop our show. Ain't no way. No.
Davis had a great rebounding game in Game 5. Rick Smith, only one good game of the series. And New York native Chris Mullin. Into the backcourt, another New Yorker, Mark Jackson. And the dangerous Larry Johnson. Chris Dudley replacing the injured Patrick Ewing. And for the third time in the series, Latrell Sprewell starting. Charlie Ward is the point guard. The shooting guard is Allen Houston.
Fewer players, longer minutes.
It's only one thing the New York Knicks have to do. Play loose and free.
Dick Bavetta, Hugh Hollins, and Mike Mathis, the officials for tonight's Game 6. Indiana controlling the opening tap. Here's Rick Smith. Had 25 at the Garden earlier, has done nothing in any of the other games of the series. Ball on the head fake, misses the shot, and Chris Dudley has the rebound. Charlie Ward surveying the Indiana defense. Dudley comes out at long range. Smith follows him just far enough out to be legal. Here's Larry Johnson. Shooting over Dale Davis, no good, and Davis collars the rebound.
Now this crowd is ready to explode at anything that the Knicks do, but what they have to do is play quick basketball. The longer they take with the ball, the easier it is going to be for the Indiana Pacers to handle it.
Double team Smith, right to Ward. Here's the New York break, 3-on-3. Ward, bad pass over the head of Larry Johnson. Are the Knicks a little tight here? Now, Jeff Van Gundy said you want them to play loose, be aggressive, play to win rather than to avoid losing. How do they look early?
That was a clear mistake right there. Charlie Ward was the most tentative player. They had a 3-on-1, should have converted, and he turned it over.
Rick Smith's a little bit tight himself. Illegal defense early. Pacers need to go to the hoop. The game they won here, Game 4, they did not take a single three-point shot. You look at Rick Smith's, the first quarter of the last 3 games have just been pathetic. He's got 55 points in the series, 25 of those points in one game. Nice pass there, Smith.
Mark Jackson has got more rebounds than Smith as Dale Davis uses his strength to pound that one home, the first basket of the game. And Mark Jackson right in the face of Charlie Ward in backcourt.
If they can get Dale Davis off early, that's always their plan. They got to keep with that and keep milking him.
Allen Houston bumped by Dale Davis as he comes off a Larry Johnson screen, and that'll be the first foul of the game.
Your Jeff Van Gundy is telling his guys, run it, move the ball, move people a lot quicker. And what the Indiana Pacers are going to try to do is be disruptive. But if you're Dale Davis, you just can't step out there and give him that little pork chop like that.
You've got a bump cutter, Steve. This is the championship right here of the conference. Now, sure, that was a foul leaning in a little bit longer or a little bit too much, but you've got to be able to step out there and deny their cut.
Sprewell had trouble catching the ball. Gives it up to Larry Johnson. Again, he's against the bigger Dale Davis.
Now, this is what they don't want. They don't want the ball to stop, and it does. Tough effort by Johnson. Foul Rick Smith.
When Larry Johnson holds on to the ball, he just brings everything to a grinding halt in the whole universe. He's got this little spin move down here. That guard has got to realize, Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson, they have to come down and anticipate that spin move.
This is a cosmic thing tonight? The whole universe?
I was unaware the world revolved around Larry Johnson. But
it's going to revolve around the guy who steps up tonight. Rick Smith still in foul trouble. More fouls than rebounds, fewer rebounds than your own point guard. Ouch.
Larry Johnson hits the 2 free throws, and we're tied at 2 with 2 minutes gone by. Jackson has been very effective posting Charlie Ward at times in the series. Gives it up to Miller. As always, guarded by Allen Houston. Has done a terrific job on him. Smith. Rick Smits, baseline jumper. It looks like Indiana is intent on going to Smits here early.
Well, they are. They want to get them going, but what they're doing is spacing things further out, which makes them a lot easier to defend.
The mindset for Rick Smits, though, has to be hate the opposition and think about making shots.
Sprewell misses with the left hand. Dudley kept it alive. Sprewell still can't score. Smits hauls it down for Indiana.
Charlie Ward is gambling off of Mark Jackson. They can make him pay.
Sprewell, who has made a reputation as a gambler on defense, comes over the back of Dale Davis for his first foul.
That ball was sitting out there like a big lollipop, and he had all the temptation in the world. He went for it, went right through Dale Davis in a mismatch, got caught.
Beautiful set play here.
And Smits converts on the jump hook after the good pass from Reggie Miller. Smits with 4, and Indiana has a 6-2 lead.
Getting Rick Smits off early really helped Dale Davis get to the offensive glass and get into a rhythm of his own.
The defense of Indiana is much better here at the start of the ball game than it's been in any other, and they've had the Knicks working against the clock. Larry Johnson at 4.
Back rim. Davis gives it up to Jackson.
Larry Johnson's dribbling too much. They need penetration and dish. That was the key to their perfect finish in Game 5. The Knicks.
Jackson to Smith. Missed that one. And Charlie Ward is going to be called for a rebounding foul as Patrick Ewing sees his opposite number, Rick Smits, get off the mark early.
Well, there's one thing that Patrick Ewing knows is his guy Charlie Ward cannot get away with anything. Pinning Mark Jackson underneath the hoop, had him locked up. The foul goes against him. Indiana gets a new 24.
Come right back to Smits.
You can only imagine how painful it was for Patrick Ewing, guys. You know, knowing his career is coming down to an end, the team on the verge of going to the NBA Finals, and he can't participate. That's tough.
Points have been heavily in favor of the Knicks.
6-2, Indiana's up.
Sideline on a delayed break.
It was a very nervous first 4 minutes for the New York Knicks, and Charlie Ward turns it over.
Reggie Miller with a run out. Charlie Ward turnover, converted to a Pacer basket, and Indiana's up 6.
Calling out Latrell Sprewell there, was he?
Cruel, Bill.
Well, it must have been Spike Lee he was coming after that day.
Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, nervous moments for the New York Knicks. Down 8-2 to the Pacers in Game 6, knowing that they need this to get to the NBA Finals. So you know what it's like. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to join me in the appearing, you can join. Just be patient. I'll let you in. As you know, the video is playing, so I can't let you in at the same time. All right? But the Knicks down 8-2 to the Indiana Pacers. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. You'll be notified when I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm going to get you back to the game and, enjoy it. Like I said, we're going to move this through just a little bit because we definitely want to get you back to your TV in time for The Last Dance, which comes on at 9 p.m. Let's get back to it, ladies and gentlemen.
Creative, is it?
There we go.
Here is Kurt Thomas making his first appearance in the New York lineup as Chris Dudley goes to the bench.
And of course, I fast forwarded us through the first quarter just a little bit. So, score is going to be different than what I originally said. All right.
They're not going to get much out of their breaking situation.
11-4, Indiana's up.
Houston trying to get his first move.
And he cannot miss the layup. New York is 1 of 10. 10% shooting to open the game.
Just like Game 4, Miami, first round here. Van Gundy was so concerned about it. He wanted the team to be relaxed.
There's that post Step move by Jackson as Smith misses the outside shot. Van Gundy said he wanted to play loose, be aggressive, leave the game with no regrets, win or lose. Sprewell misses. Tapped by Thomas once. Got the rebound the second time. Houston for three. Rebounded by Dale Davis. They cannot buy one. Under 10% shooting.
What have the Knicks been thinking about for the last 48 hours? Your whole concentration has to be make shots, make shots. Camby up off the bench. The crowd comes alive.
Here's Sprewell off the break. Lost it out of bounds. An unforced error. They had the break going, and Sprewell fumbled the pass away as the Energizer, Marcus Camby, tries to turn New York around. They were plus 20 when he was in the game in Indianapolis Wednesday night. Down 13 when he was on the bench. Chris Childs is also in as Charlie Ward sits down.
Tom, this crowd is so ready for blood.
And boy, did the Knicks need Marcus Camby in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Whoo, did they need him.
Both. This is not the Gladiators. I want to remind you this.
That's not true, Steve.
Miller with a miss. Sprewell to Childs. Thomas wide open and then waited too long, and Smith was able to intimidate him. So he goes outside and misses badly.
This is the strangest logic that you've seen. He had a 5-footer and backed up to take a 17-footer.
Kurt Thomas is a good player, but he's not Larry Bird.
New York is completely flat to open this game, reminiscent of game, what was it, 4
against Miami opening round series.
Mark Jackson.
Hey, Lamont, without a doubt, the same slow starts. But hey, that's what we do, man. The only difference is this team here, they could fight back from those slow starts. The team we have now, slow start, we might be in trouble.
Takes it to the rim. Maybe that'll get them started.
Although we have fought back on some games. Same story, though.
Told us 1,000 times through the course of this season and the playoffs, they're a team that needs to play in desperation. And when they're desperate, they play better.
Thomas on Sprewell. Camby hits Sprewell. Thomas going to the rim for the finish. 2 straight buckets by the Knicks. And Larry Bird calls for a timeout.
And the preparation, and you see the shooting numbers tonight.
Start fighting back, ladies and gentlemen.
The hottest guys.
They start fighting back in this one, and like you heard him say, the Knicks were a team that needed some desperation to really get going.
Antonio Davis in for Rick Smith. Offensive foul on Dale Davis.
That's the second personal foul against Dale Davis. But, you know, when Camby is like this, it's tough to get shots over him. He's got great timing, long arms, and Dale Davis is not going to jump over anybody. Picks up the personal foul. That's going to get Derek McKee into the ball game, and he'll join Antonio Davis up front.
Steve, when I was talking to Larry Bird about Marcus Camby and the problems that they've had defending him, Larry was reminding us about the problems they had with Tony Kukoc last year with Chicago, an athletic big man who just creates huge matchup problems for the Pacers. Nobody really on Indiana that can guard Camby.
What they're trying to do now is get some ball movement, player movement. They go to the 2-man game, tough shot for Allen Houston.
Guards have got a rebound for Indiana. Reggie picks up a foul.
Reggie Miller looks in disbelief as he's whistled for his first foul. I don't know that I've ever seen Tony Kukoc attack the rim and block shots the way Marcus Camby does.
But that rangy, athletic, all over the court type of style that Kukoc brings.
Childs guarded by Jackson. Sprewell off a screen. Houston open jumper. Way short. Got his own.
That is knocked away. The problem for Allen Houston, too much anxiety here at the start of the ball game. He needs to calm down. Wide open, he just flattened that shot out.
Anxiety, Reggie Miller. He's not coming back in on the defensive backboard. He's trying to leak out every time to get quick opportunity. He's been burned twice now by Houston.
There is a clear example of the difference between Chris Childs and Charlie Ward. Chris Childs will pass the ball ahead where Charlie Ward continues to dribble. So when he gets this ball out of the backcourt and pops it ahead, he puts a lot of pressure on the defense of the Indiana Pacers. A surprise, Mark Jackson said, "Not me."
Mark Jackson with a foul sends Allen Houston to the free throw line. While watching the game, log on to NBA.com for expert analysis, head-to-head stats, live sortable shot charts, in-game video highlights, and a chance to listen in to the complete post-game press conferences. And on Monday, June 14th at 2 Eastern, former Pistons guard Joe Dumars will participate in a live chat with fans, all at NBA.com.
Allen Houston misses the second of the 2 free throws. When we talked to Allen about the importance of this game, he said, I don't look at this as a one-game deal. We got to win 5 games to win the championship. Reggie Miller still ice cold.
Sprewell, though, had to save it in bounds, couldn't control the rebound. And now Hugh Hollins and Dick Pavetta disagree. It'll be Indiana ball.
And I want to give a shout out to Kobe Beef and K Ball Girl on Sportscaster for sending me the whistles. Thank you. I appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. Let me get you back to the game in progress. I don't want you to miss it.
And Indiana gets it back, but you can tell by Allen Houston shooting that he is very tight here at the outset of this ball game.
The marquee players struggling. Reggie Miller 1 of 5, Sprewell 1 of 5, Houston 1 of 5. Jalen Rose just checks into the game. Sprewell has him. Camby with a help rejected. Antonio Davis tapped in by McKee. Derek McKee in the right place at the right time for his first bucket.
The bench for Indiana was so badly outplayed. Camby still having a huge impact, but if Antonio Davis, Jalen, and Derek McKee can do something tonight, the Pacers have a chance.
Now remember game 3 when both teams started shooting so poorly, and then from the second quarter on they really souped up and got going. This game is a lot like that, and both teams are struggling. As you take a look at the all-time low for playoff points.
Childs with 54 seconds gives it up to Sprewell. Can't score. Got his own rebound and puts it down.
That first ball was blocked by Antonio Davis. If the Pacers can't even get the ball in bounds, how would they expect to win?
Jalen Rose, who's played a variety of positions for the Pacers, gets it to Miller. Ball fake, shot, no good. And a loose ball foul on New York.
Kurt Thomas.
The Knicks are not controlling their defensive backboard. Latrell Sprewell off the blown inbounds play. The first block rejected there by Antonio Davis, but Spree stays with it, persistent.
33 seconds to go. The Knicks need good defense. They'll get one more possession, and let's see if they can keep the Indiana Pacers out on the perimeter.
Play the clock all the way down. Put pressure on New York's defense.
Here's Derek McKee. Camby got him on the arm.
What Camby should realize in guarding someone like Derek McKee, he's longer. He doesn't have to gamble and reach for the ball. He has him under control and can't resist the temptation. And anytime you whack down, you're probably going to get the call going against you.
First free throws of the game for Indiana upcoming.
When asking Larry Bird about cutting down his rotation, which a lot of people have suggested to him, he said, hey, I'll play guys who earn good minutes.
Derek McKee for the second free throw. And with 22.1 seconds remaining, it's 17-11 first quarter Indiana lead.
And they put the ball in Houston's hand, and he's got to be attacking the defense of Reggie Miller. Don't hold the ball. Find a way to get in deep. Forces his way in and gets one.
For Allen Houston. Blocking foul called. It'll give Houston a chance for a three-point play.
The Knicks, after a horrendous start, they're down 4 points with a chance to make it 3 with the free throw here on a terrific drive. Denying penetration, a critical aspect to controlling tempo outside the line. That's a tough call to make a block.
I tell you, man, my guy Allen Houston was so fundamentally correct. His shot perfect. Very fundamental. Very fundamental ball player.
You meet with him before every game.
Sprewell from midcourt nearly hit it.
Well, I think he'll be involved one way or another.
Bill, congratulations. Good luck to you on your campaign.
All right.
17-14. Can you imagine that score today at the end of a first quarter? That's very, very unlikely to happen in today's NBA. That's the way it was played, though, back in the day. 17-14 to begin the second quarter, ladies and gentlemen. 17-14. But these two teams, they grinded it out, and they both know that this is it. You know, the Knicks basically feel here, if they lose this game, they got to go to Indiana to play a Game 7. That's not what they wanted to do. So this was basically a Game 7 for the Knicks. In Indiana, well, this was win or go home.
It's really important if you're going to shoot a high percentage, you've got to be able to move people and move the ball. And the longer you hold it, the worse your chances of shooting a high percentage, unless you're having one of those torchy days and everything is going in.
You have two outstanding defensive teams. The question is which of these guys can get their own shots. We know that Spree can get his, Allen Houston can get his. Is anybody other than Rick Smits going to be able to answer that call for Indiana?
You're telling me Rick Smits can get his own shot? Somebody's got to bring him the ball. You can't just walk out there and dribble down and shoot.
You give him the ball within 15 feet, he can get a shot.
Fast break points, all even at 2 apiece so far. The Knicks need a big advantage in the transition points in order to have a chance to beat the bigger Pacers.
Jalen Rose has got a matchup that favors him if he uses his quickness against Larry Johnson. Inside, Davis couldn't control it.
Rose for 3. Jalen Rose can't hit. Rebounded by Thomas. Childs to Houston. Over Miller. Got it. Friendly garden bounce for Allen Houston. First lead for the New York Knicks after shooting 22% in the opening quarter. They lead by 1.
Bird keeps going deeper and deeper into that bench. This is where they fell apart the last game.
Well, he's got less patience, and the hook is very quick, so he didn't like the rebounding effort. Someone's going to pay for that.
He's got a lot more patience than I've got.
Travis Best misses the floater. We knew that. Childs gets a screen from Thomas. Travis Best trying to get over the top is called for the push. Needless foul there by Travis Best.
You get them in transition, and they have a chance to get quick scoring opportunities from Allen Houston and Sprewell. He got that one to go. That may get that jumper from the perimeter to
and Lamont, you said Allen Houston was basically you said he's the epitome of a coach's son. Definitely, without a doubt, right? The epitome of a coach's son. That's exactly what he was. You see LJ in the post. You heard him say the ball, everything, the world stops when LJ gets the ball. It stopped here. And LJ with the fadeaway and brings it home. Number 2, LJ. Knicks up 20-17 over the Pacers. 9 minutes and 55 seconds left here in the second quarter.
16-6 since Camby entered the game. I don't think it's just coincidence.
Absolutely not. And Larry Johnson draws a great offensive foul here.
The mindset of the Indiana Pacers.
The intangibles. When you can bring something like tipping loose balls, controlling the flow of the game, that's just a remarkable contribution to your team. Very few players can do that without putting offensive numbers on the board.
Larry Johnson cut off by Antonio Davis. Promptly hits the fall away. Now, after a brutal shooting first quarter, the Knicks are starting to get everything down.
And the crowd is surging right now, Tom. This is Larry Bird's worst nightmare. Going with the subs here. Terrible pass, Antonio. Not earning those minutes the way Larry wants him to.
Travis Best with a kick. New York will get it with a fresh 24.
This is the kind of game that Larry Bird loved, but this is not the kind of game that the Pacers are handling very well. And all the energy that they're expending is very negative and anxiety-ridden. You're rolling your arm.
Traveling. He changed his pivot foot 3 times on the entire.
He definitely traveled on that joint. But look, this is the Eastern Conference Finals, man. They wasn't calling that joint on LJ.
How are you going to explain the officials? And then you make your own
It was definitely travel.
To me, it's a big gamble that Larry Bird's even going with Travis Best. There was no practice yesterday.
You remember Travis Best, man. Travis Best was one of them, just consummate good point guards, right? Tough point guards. Came from Georgia Tech, along with the Marburys and all them guys.
Illegal defense called against the Knicks. And that's the second one, so a technical foul.
Everybody's trying to get up there to shoot this free throw. Chris Mullin from the New York City area definitely wants to put on a show for his friends and family.
Is this perhaps the last game for Travis Best and the Indiana Pacers this season? It's now or never. Whether he's 10% or 100%, he's got to try to give them something.
Yeah, but Steve, the Pacers have fallen behind when they've gone to this second unit. And a terrible pass by Sam. And now they've lost all momentum. The crowd is about to surge and storm the court here. Now they're going to bring the starters back in.
They're going to storm the court now?
Yeah.
9 turnovers, 2 field goals by Indiana the last 10 minutes.
They're trying to use that pick and roll action with Captain so many shots in the fourth quarter, and it gets one for Kurt Thomas right there.
Maybe the Pacers could take a lesson in patience for the Knicks, because the Knicks began the first quarter with abysmal shooting and now have worked their way out of it.
How about Kurt Thomas, though? What a turnaround for him. 4 points and 6 rebounds off the bench.
And no foul. Huh? 1 foul.
Kurt Thomas knocks the ball out of bounds. Indiana retains as Dick Pavetta discusses it with Kurt Thomas.
Now Larry Johnson jumped right in there. He wanted to make sure that Kurt Thomas, after this field goal, did not end up getting his team a technical. So he got in there and got some separation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks go on a run. They take a lead over the Indiana Pacers. And we're going to move this forward just a bit. And we're going to move it forward just a bit in interest of time, because like I said, I do want to get you to this Last Dance episode. So we're going to pick it up about here, right here in the about 3 minutes left in the 4 minutes left in the second quarter. The Knicks up 5, 33-28 over the Indiana Pacers.
Smith, foul by Childs. The basket will count.
That's going to be the concern right there for Jeff Van Gundy. They can't allow him to get that deep post position. This ball is too deep, and Childs realized it, but he doesn't grab it. So he lets him get that arm in the air, and now you got a chance for a three-point play.
Van Gundy can't believe it, but that last time was a perfect example of the benefits of a great, crisp, hard snap post-entry pass. Jalen Rose, unlike Dale Davis the previous time, put it right in the money and gave Smith some rhythm.
What's a forward going to do passing the ball? You know, you need a guard. You need somebody like Jalen Rose anyway.
Talk about Larry Bird. Talk about Bob Gross and Jamal Wilkes. Well, maybe we won't talk about Jamal passing.
Sprewell attacks Mark Jackson and lays it in. Nice spin move by Sprewell, who has a half dozen points. New York by 4.
Pacers have not adjusted whatsoever to Sprewell finishing every time with his left hand in the paint.
Outside shot by Jalen Rose. Rose connects for his first bucket of the game, cuts the lead back to 2.
Rose quiet in Game 5 after having a tremendous game where he had 19 points in Game 4. They need that kind of activity from him. Childs and Sprewell, 2-man game.
Sprewell for 3. Continues to shoot poorly, 3 of 12.
Spree doesn't have three-point range. His shot basically goes out to about 18 feet, and then his ability to get to the free throw line, that's the real strength of his game.
Reggie Miller has also struggled with his shot. Backs up for a 3. Short. Smith's kept it alive until Camby put 2 strong hands around it. Reggie's 1 of 8. Childs hits Camby. Missed that one. Jackson has it for Indiana.
Thomas was frozen watching. You got to keep moving. You're playing with somebody who's hot. Never stop.
Miller. That one won't go down. Tap twice on the floor to Miller. Tries it again. Still can't score. Camby the rebound as Childs and Dale Davis were wrapped up.
Get to the hoop here for Spree.
Kurt Thomas. Easy rebound for Smith.
What the Knicks aren't doing right now, and they're taking advantage of Indiana's sports.
Dad Harry, thanks Dad. Shortly after that, a child was born, and he took his other children into the delivery room, said after they witnessed the death of their grandfather, he wanted them to see life renewing with the birth of another child. And you remember the story, the Knicks were playing in Indianapolis, and Mark was returning to New York for the funeral. Jeff Van Gundy insisted he ride on the Knicks charter. Mark said, no, that wouldn't be right. And Jeff said, absolutely, it would be right. You must come with us. And Mark said he will forever be grateful for that touching gesture by Jeff Van Gundy and the Knicks.
And Mark is an unbelievable person. One of his best friends as a kid and growing up through college at St. John's was paralyzed in a drive-by shooting. Mark Jackson has raised personally over $10 million for spinal cord research, inspired by his best buddy there from St. John's.
Camby with a lob pass and a foul call. And for an update on the Larry Johnson injury, let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, Tom. Right now, Larry Johnson is being evaluated by Dr. Norman Scott back in the training room. They do have x-ray equipment and all of the modern technology here at Madison Square Garden. They have yet to make a determination just exactly what it is or how severe the right knee injury is. They're probably going to wait through halftime and then give us something at that point. Tom?
All right, Jim. Allen Houston to the free throw line. During the last break in action, Chris Dudley came in for New York, and now Smits, who just picked up his second foul, leaves, replaced by Antonio Davis.
Well, Larry Bird is going to try to protect Smits, and so he's not going to let him play for the final 142. He knows how quickly he can pick up fouls. Houston gets that one to roll in, and so the Knicks.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. What we missed as we skipped forward is that Larry Johnson went down with a knee injury. And of course, that's scary for the New York Knicks because he was one of the biggest inside threats for the team. So now the pressure is really on for the Knicks to finish the game, to finish this series tonight. They've got to finish it tonight because you don't want to go back to Indiana without Larry Johnson. To play Game 7 without Larry Johnson. Had to get it done. Let's get you back to the game.
Bricked the shot while turning his back to the basket.
But after that game, Larry Bird told Reggie Miller, hey, look, you're our shooter. Go 0 for 20. Just keep putting it up. And that's what he called that timeout for a couple of possessions ago. And Reggie's come out firing with the confidence. Breathed life into him by his coach, Larry Bird.
Couldn't get back-to-back buckets, though. And with 45 seconds left in the half, New York with the ball up 2. Sprewell. Rose with a reach-in foul. Jalen Rose.
You know, the Indiana Pacers are leaving Chris Dudley open. And
why not?
Well, that's right. and, you know, fortunately, as we take a look back at the foul, the Knicks are helping the defense of the Pacers by giving the ball to Dudley. You get a guy cutting to the hoop, he hops out, his chances of making his shot are remote, and yet they continue to throw the ball in there. It helps them. It doesn't help the New York Knicks.
Thursday night, Shamika Holtzclaw scored 18 points in her WNBA debut, so we all get a chance to see the two-time Collegiate Player of the Year as she leads the Washington Mystics against two-time MVP Cynthia Cooper and the champion Houston Comets on NBC tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.
Oh, they're going right to her. How does that make the rest of the women feel in the WNBA, Tom? They've got game 2, right?
They do indeed, as we check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Larry Johnson has a sprained ligament in his right knee. The x-rays were negative. He's being taken to the hospital for an MRI. He is out for the season. Out for the game. They will evaluate the season after the MRI. Tom?
All right, Jim.
Well, this could very well be the season.
Right, it could be.
So it's one and the same. Jim Gray on top of it as always.
Charlie Ward back in the ball game. Chris Childs out for the final 27 seconds of this first half.
Jackson posting up Charlie Ward, who gets rid of it to Rose. Attacking Sprewell. Camby's there to help. And it was saved inbounds.
The Knicks get the ball to Allen Houston to work for the final shot as they did, and the crowd comes to their feet.
Houston got it.
That is exactly what New York needed. Get the crowd going wild into halftime with the 6-point lead.
Go! No! It rimmed out. From midcourt, Mark Jackson had it, and it just rimmed out as the buzzer sounds.
Allen Houston just taking over.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, with Larry Johnson being out, like I said earlier, the pressure is amped up. Let's hear from Jeff Van Gundy.
For a cautionary MRI, the team doctors now say that they are slightly optimistic that he might be able to play once again this season. Jeff, the mood in the locker room, and do you now feel like this is Game 7 with the loss of Larry?
Well, we just have to play well. We have more than enough to win with. We just got to hang in there, hang around, and play well.
No one's moping?
Shouldn't be. You know, Larry sets a great example, and He'd want us to continue to play very hard and go for the win.
Jeff, good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
And energizing New York. Second half begins. Charlie Ward with Kurt Thomas, Allen Houston, Chris Dudley, and Latrell Sprewell. Houston bounces it off Rick Smith's foot out of bounds. New York's ball was 14 to shoot. Indiana has Mark Jackson, Dale Davis, Chris Mullin, Reggie Miller. And
my man Dino Cannon said, I'm really reliving my dream. Actually, I never, ever dreamt of being a sportscaster. You know, my dreams were clearly, like probably a lot of kids, to play in the NBA. That did not happen. College was the highest level. You know, so that was my dream. To be a commentator, not really. This is just fun. But I get what you're saying.
And then hope that this big boost comes from Childs and Camby to get the win.
Speaking of a boost, the only player doing anything for Indiana is Rick Smith, surprisingly.
the turnovers continue to plague them. That's 13 Indiana turnovers. Thomas, the entry pass to Sprewell. Gets right around Mullin. Smits to help. And
Although, Donald,
Sprewell steps out of bounds, so
being a commentator for games has to be one of the best jobs ever. Has to be. Can't imagine it's not.
foul trouble for them because they do have the 9 players available. 2 fouls on Childs, 5 others with 1 each.
Tom, if they're going to give you that baseline move, Jackson beautifully in the lane there, but if they're going to give you that baseline move like Sprewell just utilized, you got to set up on the lane a little bit higher so that you don't step out of bounds when you drop step them.
Mark Jackson makes it a 4-point game.
Now, if you're Indiana, you got to know the 2 guys that got to make buckets are Houston and Sprewell. And as I said before, I don't know why the Knicks dropped the ball into Dudley's hand, because it helps out the defense of the Indiana Pacers.
They ought to invite him to shoot.
Well, they're not guarding Dudley. Schmitz is doing an outstanding job of stepping out against the screen and roll tonight.
Reggie Miller misses. Put back by Dale Davis.
2 points. It came underneath through the basket. Dudley did it. Was going to be a goaltending anyway, but Mark Jackson finally started the scoring for the Indiana Pacers with an effort of his own. Danced around, dropped it in, and that hoop brings him back within 2.
Charlie Ward looks...
Mark Jackson with the slow spin.
New York starts the quarter with
Slow, methodical spin.
turnovers. 3 if you count Dudley's bad-looking shot.
Chris Dudley has struggled. He's got to find some way to get a decent offensive rhythm.
But they left Jackson alone, and he made him pay. Mark Jackson ties the game at 41. New York takes a 20-second timeout.
Shout out to Epic Mia from Sportscaster for hitting me with the foam finger. I appreciate you. Thank you.
But it's been Mark Jackson in a 2-man game that's opened up the middle. You see Dudley does not close. Matter of fact, he's so concerned about Smith, he chases off of him, leaves Mark Jackson wide open. Back-to-back buckets for Jackson in a tie ball game for the Indiana Pacers.
But the decision has been made that they're more concerned about Smith than Mark Jackson. Is Larry Bird ecstatic that the Pacers have come out sharp to start the third.
And Mark Jackson, the subject of that Showtime halftime piece, leading Indiana to a 6-0 run to open the third in the game, tied.
And we're going to fast forward this just a little bit in interest of time.
Technical. Mark Jackson ran up to him and told him, hey, that's not professional, unnecessary.
As the game gets tight once again, Kurt Thomas, crazy eyes,
mental discipline.
Reggie Miller.
Kurt Thomas, you've got the chance of a
knocks down a free throw, technical foul. Listen, Reggie Miller, he don't miss those.
Their life
and
will
Kurt
never
Thomas
be the
stepped
same
over
again.
him. You get the technical foul there, but Reggie Miller wasn't missing no free throws. You already know that.
The fragility of this team's
And the Pacers regain the lead, ladies and gentlemen,
Remember,
49 to 44.
They start playing good. You know, the last time they were 13-4 before
Sorry,
they got a run going.
talking over top of them guys. The Pacers regain the lead, 49 to 44. As you see Sprewell on the break, finding Kurt Thomas under the basket.
Secondary break for the bucket.
Puts that one in, ladies and gentlemen. But the season is on the line for the New York Knicks here. You better believe it.
Smits back to Dale Davis for the jam. Nice ball movement. Davis gave it to Smits and kept going to the rim. And Dale Davis has 6 points.
Now, the Knicks, but the Knicks know with their small lineup, the only chance to win is pressure on the ball movement. Childs has not been able to buy a bucket, misses that one.
Why?
Yeah, why does he shoot?
They come up, they got a full shot clock. You got Houston and Spree, who you're trying to get off. Nobody under the boards, traveling on Smith.
Smith protests the call. He said, my toe's broken, give me a break.
I like it when they call traveling, double dribble, 3 seconds, offensive fouls. I think that helps to clean up the game a lot.
Now, as much as we've been talking about the New York Knicks and their ineptitude, they're only down 5 points. They're in this ball game, so they're hanging around. They've done what they've done so well, and all they need is an offensive hero, and it is got to be Allen Houston and Sprewell. Houston.
Beautiful drive as Reggie Miller slams the ball out of the net after Allen Houston went right around him and beat Smits as well.
And Childs is now up applying pressure. Larry Johnson is usually the guy that helps double team, but he can't play. A bumping foul in the backcourt by Childs.
Now, Allen Houston is attacking the defensive Reggie Miller, and Miller doesn't move his feet. That allows the seam to open up, and 2 for Houston. He's got 4 points in the quarter.
Remember, game 5, Houston's huge at the start of the third quarter, really gave the Knicks momentum.
Jackson kicks it back outside to Miller for 3. Rebounded by Camby. Here's Sprewell in a hurry.
Kurt Thomas has got to play harder and smarter for the rest of the game.
Chris Childs penetrates, gives it up to Camby and takes it back. Camby against Smith, baseline. And an illegal defense call against Indiana.
Where did that come from?
They're calling.
And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I can't explain how instrumental Marcus Camby was to this game. Without LJ, Marcus Camby really had to step up and be a scoring threat in this game. And that's exactly what he did. And I think with him stepping up, and you see every time he was in the game, the Knicks went on a run as Allen Houston knocks down a technical free throw. Every single time he came into the game, he put on a run. It really cemented that Marcus Camby could be a starting center in the NBA. Although, you know, he didn't play the same style as Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon. He cemented it. Let me get you back to the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Only when cornered do they seem to play their best. Houston picks up the foul. Reggie Miller with a hand check.
Tom, we're seeing a clinic right now by Allen Houston in terms of footwork. Not every shot is going down. Reggie's doing a decent job on him, but the way Allen Houston is deliberately getting that pivot foot, the outside foot, stepping with that right forward, that was Michael Jordan's, his ability to get what he wanted. That's what we're seeing from Allen Houston right now.
Well, it seems like they've always had someone to step up and become the hero. Will it be Allen Houston tonight? Will it be someone else? Here's Houston against Miller.
They need the crowd. They need the crowd, and the lead is going to give that crowd that lift.
Miller tagged with his 3rd. So Indiana now has Dale Davis with 3, Rick Smits with 3, Reggie Miller with 3, Mark Jackson with 3.
Look at Houston's right foot there, the one so important to get down there.
The problem for Reggie Miller defensively is he's playing Allen Houston straight up. Childs out of control. They wanted to travel. They didn't get it. Sprewell.
Sprewell can't hit baseline. Put again by Camby.
And there goes that man. Let me use Mark Jackson's term since we're playing against Mark Jackson. There goes that man. Just watch Marcus Camby, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus Camby's going to have a heck of a game tonight.
Smits. No way to stop that at 7'4". Rick Smits turns and fires in the jump hook. He has 13. Indiana back up by 2.
The way to stop it is pressure the passer. If you let Mark Jackson or any of those guards see Smits that deep, it's an easy delivery. They're coming back to Houston. They're trying to keep him from getting his hands on the ball with Mark Jackson as a defender, and they get another foul.
So they switch defenders, put Jackson on him instead of Miller, and Jackson picks up his 4th foul.
So few of the Indiana Pacers are having any impact on this game. Foul here, Mark Jackson pushing, keeping him off balance. Tough call between a couple of veterans there. Where's Dale Davis? Where's Chris Mullen?
One more puts the New York Knicks into the penalty, and Houston's looking to drive this ball.
Smits comes to help, doesn't matter. Houston blows by Jackson and Smits. 21 for Allen Houston. Game tied at 53.
Ewing up, leading the cheers, whistles virtually every trip up and down the court.
And Allen Houston is getting that great first step on Reggie Miller, and nobody's closing the middle. You can't drive from that far out without somebody on the other side seeing you, and he gets an easy two.
Offensive clinic here. You're seeing a lifetime of work, of discipline, of practice and playing one-on-one. And now with Marcus Camby, who along with Chris Childs have played the exact minutes here, the plus 18 when they're in, the minus 18 when they're out, that's a 36.
And let me not forget about Allen Houston. I don't want to take anything away from Allen Houston because you just seen Allen Houston's, his scoring total. I think he ends up with like 32 points in this game. So I don't want to discredit Allen Houston or anything like that. But Marcus Camby really had to step up with Larry Johnson being out, and he stepped up. But of course, Allen Houston, he was budding into an NBA star, and he stepped up like he had done throughout the playoffs. Let me get you back to it, ladies and gentlemen.
This is where the Pacers fell apart in the first half. This is where the Pacers fell apart in Game 5. Larry Bird continues to go deep to the bench as Reggie sits. But Larry is the first to tell you that none of his guys can play the whole game.
Best and Childs. Allen Houston has it for New York. Here's Sprewell. Camby shakes his head no, as Sprewell was thinking about the lob.
Sprewell should have shot because Camby could have got the missed rebound.
No encouraging. Kurt Thomas. Easy rebound for Best.
That is the shot that Thomas has to make in the absence of Larry Johnson. They're running that pick and roll with Smith. The guy in the corner is going to be open the rest of the evening. Smith.
Rick Smith missed it. Offensive rebound, Dale Davis. Childs ties him up.
Tom, we keep talking about the substitutions. And I believe you go with your biggest guys as Smith misses this jumper, resulting in the tie-up here. Talking to Coach Wooden today, he reminded me that his last game he ever coached, Antonio Davis in, Rick Smith out, the last game he ever coached, 5 guys played, 4 of them played the full 40 minutes, 1 sub came in and played 12 minutes, and that was it. They won the game, they beat Kentucky in the NCAA championship.
Who?
Kentucky Wildcats.
To UCLA?
To UCLA, absolutely.
I don't know if I trust your memory.
You went to Kentucky, right?
Chris Childs from 15 did a little big L in honor of his fallen teammate Larry Johnson.
They ought to quit thinking about the signs and start thinking about playing ball. This game is...
Bill Walton, what are you talking about? They just took the lead. You know, Bill Walton sometimes just gets on my nerves. I like Bill Walton. I'm not saying he doesn't, but sometimes, I'm not saying I don't, but sometimes, man, back in these days, he used to bug me. Like, they had just taken a lead, and you saying that they're not focused on the game? Come on, man. But anyway, that's Bill Walton for you.
8 on the shot clock. They got to get a shot away.
Houston. He feels it. 23 for Houston. Pretty shot.
Offensive foul. Pacers.
And you see the Garden going crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Childs hit him with the LJ. That's what I'm talking about. And you know Jeff Van Gundy got old in this game, but, you know, Jeff Van Gundy did his thing. Allen Houston launches and misses that one as the Indiana Pacers gather the rebound, and Mark Jackson slows it down. The Pacers down by 2 to the Knicks. Mark Jackson. Chris Mullins, St. John's product. Back up top. Inside. Marcus Camby making his presence felt. Throws that one out of bounds as he patrols the paint. And yes, someone said, I just seen in the chat that someone said Mitch Robinson really needs to watch Marcus Camby. He really does. That's what Mitch Robinson is going to do. The same way that Marcus Camby plays, that's how Mitch Robinson is going to play. As Jalen Rose lets it up and misses. The Knicks do not get the offensive rebound, and the Pacers try to muscle it up inside. Before I get you back to the game, just one thing. Jalen Rose, ladies and gentlemen, all throughout my high school and college career, I wore number 5. I wore number 5. I wore number 5 because Jalen Rose was my favorite player in college at one point. he was my favorite player. I just loved the way that he played the game when he was with Fab Five. So I wore number 5. Yo, I like Jalen Rose. Big shout out to Jalen Rose.
Senior Classic at Opryland. Jim Albus leads the elite field by a stroke after the first round of play. Bell South Senior Classic tomorrow 2 p.m. Eastern here on NBC.
Tom, you just said it was a good idea to foul Dale Davis. That guy is an outstanding free throw shooter. He's worked religiously at becoming a quality producer from the line.
Religion might be in order for him when he goes to the free throw. Tied at 57. Sprewell gives the Knicks the lead. 30 seconds left.
First shoot, but the second half for Sprewell, and Houston needs some help. So Sprewell is going to have to step up to this dance and deliver.
The Knicks have players, Houston and Spree, who can deliver off their own dribble. Where is that for Indiana?
5-second difference between game and shot clock. Jalen Rose right in Allen Houston's face.
You didn't say oh, did you? I guess we found out who that guy was, Jalen Rose. Oh,
good. And finally as well.
At the end of the third quarter, New York will hold for the final shot. Blocked. Best from midcourt. Nighttime view of the Frogs' Neck and Whitestone Bridges.
It's tied at 59. The Knicks and the Pacers battling it out. If the Knicks win, they go to the NBA Finals. If they lose, they go back to Indiana without Larry Johnson. And that would have been a problem. We're going to move this thing forward just a little bit, get about halfway through the fourth quarter. And then we're going to let it ride out from there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's let this thing go. The Knicks in a battle with the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks trying to make it to the NBA Finals. They win this game, that's what happens. They lose this game, they play game 7 in Indiana without LJ. Let's go ahead and let this thing ride, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get you back to it.
Camby is hammered by Rick Smits. 6:58 left in game 6.
And right on
Only
cue,
8 points.
Marcus Camby does what he needs to do.
Miller are in now for the final 6 minutes 58 seconds. Reggie only 3 of 15 shooting tonight. Marcus Camby misses the first free throw as we check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thanks, Tom. Here's the report on Larry Johnson from Beth Israel Hospital. He has a sprained medial collateral ligament in his right knee. He will be reevaluated tomorrow and is day-to-day, and right now he is still at the hospital, will not be returning to Madison Square Garden. Tom?
Thank you, Jim. First free throws by either team in the quarter. Camby hits 1 of 2. That's the margin of a New York lead.
Remember, the Knicks were perfect in game 5 down the stretch.
New York only 23 free throws today, but only 7 free throws by the Indiana Pacers.
Game 5, New York 13 for 16 in the fourth quarter. Camby's got to put those down.
They are against the shot clock and throwing the ball over the perimeter. Mark Jackson
misses the 3. Sprewell has it.
Van Gundy always telling us that when Spree rebounds and Allen Houston, that's the Knicks at their best. That's the Knicks at their worst.
Why would you try to throw the ball to Chris Dudley?
Well, he wasn't. He was throwing it towards Marcus Camby, and Dudley got in the way. And, of course, you know, the game is scoring, and Dudley's going to try to get him to turnover Smith.
And Smith is teed up by Hugh Hollins.
Rick Smith better watch out. He's on the verge of getting a second tee from Hugh Hollins. That's the problem with playing close games on the road like this. A traveling violation. He left both feet before he put the ball down. That's the right call. Very tight, but yes, the right call.
Now you know why I come to you for all questions about officials, and then you say, well, you didn't have a meeting with them.
If they called that on Shaq, Ewing, and Barkley, we may never have heard of those 3 players.
Well, Allen Houston with a rare free throw miss, and then he's knocked to the floor by Reggie Miller, who gets the foul.
Foul situation. The next one sends the New York Knicks to the penalty. They only have 1 team foul against them. They can be very aggressive. When Camby is effective, it's because he's down in the slot, and they haven't been able to find him. Sprewell.
Shot at 12. baseline floater puts the Knicks up 3.
But Steve, the Knicks are killing Camby's efforts themselves. He's best on the weak side. They're playing him on the strong side. The strong side should be Houston, Sprewell, and Child. And then Dudley and Camby on that weak side.
Chris Dudley will be called for a hold on Rick Smits.
Sprewell, you know, he's best when he can just make up plays, and this is a made-up play by Sprewell, just going on his own, and double clutches to get that one to Danson, and Van Gundy said, it is about time, Spree, you showed up.
Hey, that was the famed two-man game that Tom was talking about the other night.
Yeah, there's no two-man when you're with Trell. Now, if he's able to make up plays, that mean he'd be a good coach?
No.
Replacing Antonio Davis for Indiana. Nice fake by Smits. Dudley bought it, and Smits slammed down his 15th point.
There was some anger in that one because Smits is mad about the calls and a big effort by him to bring the ball game back to a one-point game.
And Smits plays extremely well when he gets mad. In fact, they wish he'd get mad a lot more often.
Allen Houston against Reggie Miller, now with 4 fouls. Houston got it, rattled around, took a dance, and stayed home for Allen Houston, who now has 27 points.
People who can score off their own dribble when it all bogs down. Sprewell and Houston back-to-back.
Miller now being guarded by Childs. Dudley on a switch.
That's not the strength of Reggie Miller's game.
Jalen Rose to Smits. Jalen Rose heads up play, finds Smits, who palms the ball as he shoots it through.
And they're also calling for the foul as Childs reached in and just raked that off left hand for Smits.
Coming back to the same play. They were late in getting them the ball. They come back to Sprewell.
Latrell Sprewell on target. The Knicks go back up by 3.
That runner that he hit, that Steve was talking about the creativity, that set him off. Now he's in it right now. They got to get him the ball again.
And the defensive assignment is Childs against Miller, Houston against Jackson. Camby comes out on the ball, and they get an offensive foul.
Reggie Miller with a push-off. Dick Bavetta said that's 5 on Reggie Miller.
Very tough call. Everybody just backing off. Just let that go. Camby does a terrific job of stepping out here, and he's already backing off. There's no contact.
What's that elbow?
Reggie was trying to get his arm back from Camby holding him.
So 5 fouls on Reggie Miller. Let's see if they go after him.
The crowd, unbelievable.
Miller is guarding Sprewell, but Houston and 1.
No defensive rotation whatsoever for Larry Bird's Pacers. Everybody just on their feet. They're not going to sit down the rest of the game.
3-point play by Allen Houston. He said this team plays best when it's a cornered animal. They saw Larry Johnson, their leading series scorer, go out with an injury in the second quarter. And since then, Allen Houston has hit 10 of 11 and taken over the game. Rose for 3. Jalen Rose keeping Indiana in it. 3-pointer by Jalen cuts the lead in half.
And there is another guy, you know, when the odds are against him, it's very dangerous. And Jalen Rose is stepping up in this one, 7 here in the quarter.
But who can play the individual defense to stop the penetration of New York? They're coming right back to Houston, and why not?
Well, they've got to keep driving. The ball comes over the top.
Oh, Allen Houston, unstoppable the last 2 quarters, 32 in the game.
Players live for this moment. You just feel so golden. Everything is coming back. The opposition playing in slow motion.
Rick Smits ball away and 1. $19 for Rick Smits and a chance for a 3-point play as Dudley commits the foul.
If the Pacers are going to lead the Garden tonight, they're not going to go quietly as Rick Smits turns and fires. You know, ever since he got that traveling call, Rick Smits has been a wild man out here on the floor for the Pacers. He has a chance for the 3-point play.
Got the free throw. 78-76 New York, just over 3 minutes left in Game 6. A New York win sends them to the finals, the first 8 seed to ever make it that far. A Pacers win forces a Game 7 on Sunday. Childs, Camby, puts it down.
Dale Davis just standing there, rooted to the floor, watching the ball, watching other players play the game.
Away from the ball, an offensive foul. Rick Smits.
Chris Childs pulls the trigger from the free throw line. Marcus Camby gracefully sliding in. Nothing the Pacers can do about it.
This city has gone crazy over the Knicks. Patrick Ewing leading cheers during the timeout. The crowd never stopped.
An incredibly emotional scene here. Lots of points need to be scored by the Knicks as the Pacers are far from being done.
Childs nearly lost his balance and throws it away.
And again, absolutely horrible spacing for the Knicks.
Well, you know, for Chris Childs, you know, he lives off of inspiration, and it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with in the final 2:21 as he made a mistake in Miller.
Reggie Miller misses the three. Childs takes it off the floor, and we're down to the 2-minute mark in Game 6.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes. The Knicks up 4, and they can bring this home. They can bring it home. As you see, Childs misses the three. Minute and 45 seconds left. Let's see how the Knicks can close this out, folks.
Question is, can Indiana capitalize here?
Reggie Miller looks for Smith. Instead, they work the ball the other way. Shot clock at 8. Rose to Jackson. Pass to the basket. Didn't get the shot away. 2 to shoot. Rose gets it up. Missed it. Camby skies for the rebound.
He's just moving beautifully as the great rebounders have done in history. Of course, Wilt, Russell, the absolute best. The defense, though, the closeout by Sprewell to force him to put it on the ball.
And Rick Smits fouls out of the game, replaced by Antonio Davis. Smits leaves with 20 points. Top point getter tonight for the Indiana Pacers, who are in danger of being eliminated in the Eastern Conference Finals. Again, they took the Bulls to Game 7 last year.
All season long, the Pacers have talked about wanting to be champions, but they have not had the resolve here tonight to be champions. And, you know, when you talk about teams that want it, you got to find a hero someplace. Tonight, the New York Knicks have found one in Allen Houston, Camby, and Childs, and there has been no answer for the guys in pinstripe in purple. I mean, that's blue and gold.
Pick a color.
San Antonio awaits the winner in the NBA Finals, and the Knicks a minute 22 away from making that date with the Spurs.
The Knicks, like Game 5, have been perfect down the stretch. Reggie tried to bring it right back early, but Camby is there again. Do they foul right away if you're Indiana?
Well, Indiana has got to get possession of the ball, so they got to gamble right here in the backcourt to try to make a steal on the ball, maybe get lucky, get the ball and get a play. Otherwise, they have got to foul just to keep the Knicks from using 24 seconds every single time. Dudley out of the ball game.
Fine move by Van Gundy, getting Kurt Thomas in, a better foul shooter than Dudley.
11 of his last 12. Allen Houston, he and Camby have been the difference.
The Knicks are 11 for 14 here in the fourth quarter. They scored on 10 of their final 11 possessions in Game 5. That's playing perfect basketball. That's closing them out. 10 seconds. Mike Mathis right on top of the call here.
10-second violation gives it back to Indiana with 1:03 on the clock.
Breakdown mentally.
See the full court pressure. Today's Knicks would not handle that full court pressure. That was some deep full court pressure. Chris Childs was deep in his opposite corner. And you see they got a 10-second violation. 1 minute left, ladies and gentlemen.
Reggie's 3 for 17.
Back to Jackson. Open man from the corner for 3, Jalen Rose.
Chris Childs, Dudley.
Dudley on the floor to get it for New York. 42 seconds left. Here's Sprewell.
That man right there. Sprewell. Should love Latrell Sprewell. Oh, Mark Jackson with a super deep 3.
5-point game, 30 seconds left. Indiana foul.
that last play that ignited the fast break. Chris Dudley ran from 25 feet away and dove as Larry Bird looks on in just abject disappointment. That led to this fabulous drive. Sprewell just crossing over. No one on this team for the Indiana is stopping Latrell Sprewell on the way to the hoop.
In the energy, ladies and gentlemen, I remember it vividly. I've explained it before. You know what I mean? I explained it before. I couldn't believe that it was happening, though. I couldn't believe that the Knicks were on the way to the NBA Finals after, just a crazy season for the Knicks. 8th seeded. They defeated the Miami Heat on the Allen Houston shot. Then they took care of everybody else until they got to Indiana. I think it was Atlanta they had to play. Swept through Atlanta. Then they get to Indiana. Patrick Ewing can't play. LJ goes down. It's a miracle. Sprewell.
From the most vilified player maybe in the history of the NBA to now on the verge of taking his team to the finals and maybe being the MVP if it's not Marcus Camby. Incredible legends, Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, both this year, thinking they had their chance. So far denied.
Jalen Rose.
Scored.
Let's see if he gets the continuation.
Pavetta says yes, absolutely.
Yes, basket counts. Jalen Rose with a chance for a three-point play.
What they do is guard nobody. They let him go down the lane. And in this situation, you want the opposition to use the entire 24 seconds. It was 31.1 seconds to go, and they only used 3 seconds to get the score, so they're still in the ball game. And Van Gundy, he doesn't have much hair. He could lose it all before the night is over.
He's on his knees over there right now, Van Gundy.
So they've got a 5-point advantage. Rose looking to make it a 4-point game. Indiana, after the free throw, is going to gamble, and they're going to try to steal the ball, stop the clock.
We got Perkins in right now.
Childs gets it to Sprewell.
That's a great move by Childs. Terrific decision-making. Sprewell's the guy. He's been iced at the line. The only one he missed at the end of the game last Game 5 was when he was calling the crowd out when they were chanting his name over in Market Square.
But remember, the Indiana Pacers still are full of quick-second heroics, and every time the Knicks have looked like they've got this thing won, suddenly they cut the lead in half.
Reggie's been here before. Oh, Tom and I did the game when he had 8 points in 16 seconds. So he's just waiting, I guess.
And 4 points is not safe anymore, as we've seen from Larry Johnson. But here's Latrell Sprewell. The big question for the Knicks, or one of them anyway, that they had to answer this season: should Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston play together? Well, tonight the answer is an emphatic yes. Sprewell with 19 points, Houston 32 points. They've combined for 51 of New York's 87.
For 3, Miller got 3, but they don't get him the ball. Got it now.
Miller for 3. Childs the rebound.
They have to foul immediately. The Knicks have been terrific at the free throw line.
As courageous as Reggie Miller has been, and as many big shots as he has made through his career, and here in the Garden, eventually it had to turn against him. He is 3 of 18 tonight, and there is no magic in that right arm today. And it's heartbreaking for him and all Pacer fans. And Chris Childs has been a terrific free thrower through the regular season, fallen off a little bit in the playoffs, but they just want one from him now.
Where does this leave Larry Bird, though, as Mark Jackson sits and watches the crowd chanting Larry Bird? So much pressure. Said at the start of this series that this was a series that the franchise had to win. Right now, though, Larry, there'll be a lot of stories, there'll be a lot of rumors about him walking away. Larry Bird is not a quitter. Larry Bird is going to come back. He'll fight this thing through. He just needs the luxury of having that one truly special player that the Pacers seem to be lacking at this point.
Big free throw disparity in the game. New York has hit 27 of 33. Indiana's attempted only 9 free throws in the game, hitting all 9 of them.
Sprewell blocking shots. The Pacers have given up.
When you see the celebration, ladies and gentlemen, the first eighth seed to make the NBA Finals, folks. Such an amazing moment for the New York Knicks franchise. An amazing moment for all of us as we were watching it.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Nobody is happier than Patrick Ewing. Patrick, describe this moment for us, please.
Oh, this feels very good. You know, we're going back to the big show, going back to the big dance. I'm very proud of my teammates. I thought they played fabulous. Larry got hurt, but the guys, they came out and did it for us.
What was the mood in the locker room at halftime when Larry did get hurt?
Well, it was kind of down. We was kind of down. We didn't know what the extent of it was, but, you know, it's going to be day to day and hopefully be able to play.
How difficult is this for you? You're a part of the celebration. You've been a part of the team, but you're not able to participate now.
Well, it's very frustrating. You know, I wish I was able to play, help my teammates, but they're doing a fabulous job. I just want to go and get involved in the celebration.
Go get in the huddle. Congratulations, Patrick.
And the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, advanced to the NBA Finals. We know how that one turned out. All right, the Knicks won one game versus the San Antonio Spurs. That's okay. I could take it. Because they were the first seed in NBA history to go to an NBA Finals. The first eighth seed in NBA history to go to an NBA Finals, man. That was big stuff right there for the New York Knicks. You know, and for the New York Knicks franchise. Loved it, man. Loved it. Anyway, I got my man Nate here with me. We'll chop it up for just a second. We got about 13 minutes before the last dance comes on. Nate, what's going on, man? Do you remember back? Do you remember that game?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I told you, I became a Knicks fan around that time. Oh, man. I almost damn near cried, man. That was the last time Knicks looked good on the TV.
Yeah, man. it definitely was, man. It definitely was. I got Ralph Real saying that we should show the finals. Hey, we can show do some of the 19. We can go back and do some of the 1994 finals and some of the 1999 finals.
I don't know if I want to watch 99 finals, man. We were so outmatched in that whole series.
We were. Hey, we won one game. We can look at the game that we won.
Yeah, man. Houston. I think Houston had a ball killed in that game.
You know, we can look at the game that we won. But, you know, listen, regardless, those were just great times. And then even a year after, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals. We didn't make it to the finals, but we went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know.
Hey, Sim. Chris Childs, did we draft him or did we pick him up free agency?
We picked him up in free agency. He used to play for the Nets.
Okay. I like Chris Childs, man.
Yep, Chris Childs played for the Nets. I like Chris Childs too. You know, recently he's come out and, you know, been a knucklehead, but I liked Chris Childs. You know, he was a fighter for us. We picked up, that was kind of what we did back then, right? We picked up players that were, you know, they had that type of bulldog mentality. You know what I mean? They had that bulldog mentality, and they would go out and battle.
Well, you had to when you're playing teams like the Heat with Mourning and Jones and Hardaway and, you know, PJ Brown, and then you had the Pacers with Miller and Smiths and Dale Davis or whatever his name was. I mean, you had some tough guys to get out there and bang with.
Yeah. We're getting some requests. We should watch Game 7 of the Knicks and Heat the 2000 season. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot. If you have requests, just put it in the comments. That way I can go back to the comments and see the comments, and we can look at some of those games. Now, as the games start getting more and more modern, the copyright is going to pick up. So, you know, we'd have to cut off little sections and do little sections of the game, smaller sections of the game, and then discuss it, because the copyright, as we get into 2012, 2014, stuff like, the Knicks weren't in the playoffs in 2014, but 2012, 2013, or if we do any classic games or just other games, like some of the Linsanity games, if we decided to do some of those games, we would have to take bits and pieces, break down bits and pieces because, you know, we don't want them to shut the stream down totally. You know, if they shut it down, you know. So we'd have to break it up a little bit. The older ones, the NBA doesn't really mind the older games, but as you get more modern, you know, so it's all good.
That's fun. That's funny you said that because I actually want to see the one where Melo, it was a Christmas Day where Melo played the Bulls in the Garden. That was damn.
And he knocked down that three. See, we with some stuff, what we can do is we can just break down like the fourth quarter of a game.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? We can have it. We can look at certain things in the fourth quarter and we can break it down and draw on the board and talk about it and stuff like that. We can get away with that all day because that's considered, you know, that's okay to do.
Or when Lynn and Kobe went at it in the Garden, that was a good game too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that we can do it to continue looking at classic stuff the way that we break it down. You know, older games we can get away with playing almost the whole thing. The games get newer, we can't. But anyway, that was an exciting time, man, and I'm just hoping that we can get that back sooner than later. Sooner than later, we got to get it
man.
back.
Starts with the coach. They played like Jeff Van Gundy got him to play like he plays, rugged and tough. So it starts with the coach. You got to get the right coach to give the right image and persona.
Yep, I'm with you. But look, man, I'm getting ready to go. Get ready and watch this, The Last Dance.
Yeah.
In this episode, the Knicks may be mentioned a little bit more deeply in this episode. I don't know. You know, waiting for them to really start to look and break down one of those New York Knicks series. That's what I'm waiting for.
You know the John Starks dunk is coming.
Maybe. They might elect to leave that one out. It's about the Bulls. It's not about the Knicks. It's about the Bulls. So they may decide to leave that one out.
I don't know, man. That's too iconic right there.
You know, we'll see.
Are you doing a show tonight?
No, just this one. I thought about maybe doing something after The Last Dance if they mention the Knicks, but probably not.
Okay.
Probably just doing this one tonight. Be back on this week, though.
Okay. Sounds good.
Be back on this week. Big shout out to Ishmael. You say great times. Thank you for the super chat. You say great times back then, Sim. Thanks a lot for these great memories. I really appreciate it. Do you remember what you did after we won that Game 6? I don't remember exactly what I did after this one. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Partied it up, man. We're going to the finals.
I probably fired up my PlayStation or something like that. And, you know, me and my boys and started playing one of the live games or something. Probably did that. I don't know. Most likely, you know. But anyway, Nate, I'm out of here, man. We got about 7 minutes. Want to give everybody time to, go grab their popcorn, their beer, whatever they're going to do to sit down and get in front of the tube so that they can watch The Last Dance. You know, and if the Knicks are mentioned in it, I may jump on a little bit later just to talk about that for maybe 20 minutes or something like that. All right? But anyway, I'm out of here.
Safe,
I will catch you guys later. All right? So make sure, be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen. Take care of yourselves. Get ready for work tomorrow. Enjoy The Last Dance. All right? And I will talk to you later. Look forward to the schedule coming out. You know, we always do the NBK schedule. Look forward to that coming out probably tomorrow morning. So you get it, you understand what's happening and what's going on. Before I go, let me give one more. Oh, I got that one. Okay, I got that one already. So look forward to the schedule coming out. All right, and so as we break down what's going to happen this week, and of course there'll be a topic attached to that, so we can talk about a topic. But anyway, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys later. Be peaceful, be safe. 1.